If you do see something that you like, don't hesitate. Make your move. Start making your offers. We saw a nice bounce in the luxury market, double the contracts than the previous week. I have been talking to you about buy signal for a few weeks now. I mean, this is your market. Welcome to this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market, where I take a look at the luxury market, the Manhattan market, and the Brooklyn market. I do it because I want you to be informed. It never hurts when you're a consumer to be informed. Welcome to this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market. This is for the week of October 30th to November 5th. Wow, cannot believe it is already November. Well, moving right through the fall. We're going to get started with the luxury market, then we're going to move to the Manhattan market, then the Brooklyn market, then I'm going to wrap it all up, give you my thoughts, give you my best strategies. If you're a buyer, if you're a seller, this market has changed and you definitely want to stick around. If you are an active buyer or active seller, you definitely want to have this information so that you could be making great decisions. Here's what happened last week in the luxury market. There were 24 contracts signed last week for properties that are priced at $4 million and above. That is double the number from the previous week. Of those 24 contracts, 4 of those properties were priced at $10 million and above. Those are considered the trophy properties of our market. Half of those properties were uptown, half were downtown. As is usual, condos outperformed co-ops 13-7. There were a few condops in there, and there was one townhouse. The number one contract signed last week was 43N at 50 West 66th Street. We've talked about this building before. This unit was asking $23.25 million. It started marketing off floor plans in the summer of 2022. This condo has almost 3,400 square feet. It includes 4 bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms. It has a living room with a loggia that has very beautiful views of Central Park. The amenities in the 39-story building include doorman, fitness center, indoor lap pool, and outdoor saltwater pool, jacuzzi, basketball and pickleball courts, screening room, game room, bike room, and dog walking facility, my favorite. The number 2 contract was the 6th floor at 944 Fifth Avenue. It was asking just under $18 million. It was reduced from $19.75 million when it was listed in April. This apartment belonged to the late Barbara Walters, who died back in December of 2022. This apartment has 5 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms, and 10-foot ceilings. The living room, library, and master bedroom all face Central Park. The co-op allows 33% financing, and the amenities include doorman and a gym. If we take a look at the stats for last week for the luxury market, we see that the total weekly asking price sales volume is 173,862,400. The average asking price, 7,244,267. The median asking price, 5,897,500. Average discount from original ask to last asking price, 6%. And average days on the market, 803. That's it for the luxury market. If you have any questions at all about the luxury market, please post those below, or you can always reach out to me at Sotheby's. We're going to move on now. Take a look at what happened last week in Manhattan. As I mentioned at the beginning of this report, we are starting to see some real changes in this market. We're nearing the end of the fall market, and we're seeing that the supply is starting to decline. The supply for last week, 277, down almost 33%. Contracts signed also down 152. down almost 27%. The off-market properties, 244, down 5.4%. The overall supply for the month, 1,502, down almost 33%. Contract signed, 739, up a little bit for the month, a little over 10%. It was nice to see a little bit of an increase after the very slow days of September. The off-market properties, 799, that's also up almost 22%. We can see by this market pulse that we are in a buyer's market, kind of in a flat state if you look at the chart, and the liquidity pace showing the 30-day moving window of contract activity, 739, latest reading. We see that we are up 16% from last month, but down from last year by about 5%. If we look at the net new inventory, we see that it rose a bit in October, but definitely milder rate than we saw for September. The new supply typically falls in November and December. So buyers, as the saying goes, what you see is what you get. If you see something that you like, you might want to make a move on that now. Don't expect a lot more new inventory to be coming on the market from here on out, at least until the spring. Okay. That's it for the Manhattan report for last week. I'm going to get into a little more details about where the Manhattan market is at, and I'm going to give you my thoughts, certainly. Right now, though, we're going to move on, talk about what happened in Brooklyn. Just as with Manhattan, we're also seeing the supply falling in Brooklyn for the week, 167. That is down over 45%. Contracts signed also down 124, down a little over 7%. Off market down 105, over 41%. For the month, we see the supply at 908. That is down 10%. Not terrible. We would have liked to have seen a little more supply in Brooklyn. Contracts signed, we saw a little pop, a little over 8% for the month. 522. Off market, we saw a rise in that, almost 36% for the month, 417. What does this mean? Well, it means we're in a buyer's market, as in Brooklyn, as we are in Manhattan. If we look at the liquidity pace chart, this 30-day moving window of contracts signed, 522, we do see an increase. So we should be kind of winding down the end of this fall market. However, we are seeing an uptick in the contract activity, nothing huge, but definitely an increase from where we were. So perhaps we will see a little more contract activity in Brooklyn that will continue on past the normal ending time of the fall market, which would be about Thanksgiving. Looking at the Brooklyn net new inventory, we actually see the inventory was down slightly for October. This perhaps is putting some pressure for the buyers that are out there. We saw that a little bit of an uptick in the contract activity. The fact that we just don't have a lot of inventory in Brooklyn might be putting a little more pressure on the market because we just don't have a lot of inventory. So the fact that the inventory was slightly negative in October might be helping the sellers there. And we are going to continue to watch this because that is a slightly different situation than we're seeing in Manhattan. But I'm going to get into that in a moment. I'm going to give you my thoughts. Okay, that's it for Brooklyn. If you have any questions, you can post those below. I'm happy to answer them. So we saw a nice bounce in the luxury market, double the contracts than the previous week. 24 contracts were signed at $4 million and above. We didn't see a big pop in the trophy end of the market, only 4 of those. And we saw that half of those properties were uptown, half were downtown, so no big clues there. As usual, we see that the condos are outperforming the co-ops, with townhouses and condops kind of lagging behind those. No big insights there, except it is really good to see that the luxury market did bounce back. If we look at the Manhattan and Brooklyn markets together, we can see that both are essentially flat when it comes to new listings and supply. They are both starting their seasonal decline. In terms of demand, we see the Manhattan is basically down a bit. Brooklyn saw a slight pop, slight uptick. However, both are in a low liquidity environment. If we look at prices overall, the data that we do have is suggesting that our median prices are down 7 to 9% from last spring. So, what does this all mean if you are a seller, an active seller in this market? It means that you really need to work hard if you want to get the attention of the buyers that are out there. If you are priced well, you will know it because buyers will come and see your property and make offers. If you have been sitting on the market and you are not getting offers after a few weeks, you want to make sure you're taking full advantage of the time remaining to you, which is likely to be through Thanksgiving. So do everything you can to make the most of this market, make those price adjustments, and get your deal done. Buyers, I have been talking to you about buy signal for a few weeks now. I mean, this is your market. So don't hesitate. You have less competition. You have pretty good leverage right now. You're not going to see a lot more inventory. So if you don't see anything you like, that's, one thing. But if you do see something that you like, don't hesitate. Make your move, start making your offers, and see if you can get a deal done in this market, because this is definitely your moment. But as with all things, and this goes for sellers too, so sellers, take heart. Nothing lasts forever. Buyers, don't think this is going to keep going forever and ever and ever. Things change. If you have any questions, let me know. You can post those below. You can always reach out to me at Sotheby's. As always, I want to thank the Olshan Luxury Report and Urban Digs. The work that they do helps me to help you to make great decisions. I'll be back next week with the very latest news on what's happening in the New York City real estate market. In the meantime, take care.